What is happening, James? Sorry, I've got you as the full screen here. There's the full crew. What's happening, guys? What's happening, guys? What's happening? Today is January 9th, 2019, and we are back. Another episode of Cryptosomniac Trader Talk Live, and we have a surprise special guest. Look who came on the stream. What up, Sam?
Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good.
And let me get this chat out of the way.
Trying to pull up the chat on my screen too so I can see people.
All right. Cool. I think we should be good here. So, Happy New Year. What's happening, Ryan Jack? What's happening, Icon? What's happening, JK? Thanks for joining us, guys. Yeah, how's everybody doing? I am still recovering from the flu, so I may cough and hack a little bit throughout the stream. Apologies. But hopefully we can still make the best of it. And yeah, anyways, what's going on, guys? How was your New Year's? How was your holidays? And how's your crypto holding up?
It's I guess I'll start. Holidays were good. It's always good to see family and whatnot. I should probably pull up my chair a little bit. Yeah, they were great. I love traveling back to the East Coast for that cool winter weather. While we enjoyed that paradise, year-long paradise here in California. Crypto is holding up, not too bad. I'm glad it's not back down to 3,100, which a lot of people were expecting, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was. Certainly, I was. I've still got a few low buy orders sitting around in the low threes just in case catch a wick, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I did decide to the last few days, decided to try to re-enter some of the fiat that I've had sitting in my Coinbase account just to get active again. I was pretty inactive over the holidays as far as trading goes. Obviously, I was doing a lot of personal life stuff, spending time with my pops, etc. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for 2019 and the possibilities that it holds for cryptocurrency.
It's going to be a big one.
Joey Rocket Crypto's in the house. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. So they said everyone was saying 2018 was going to be the big year.
Yeah.
That fell kind of short, huh?
Yeah, little rough around the edges there.
Yeah, so hopefully 2019 is going to be a little bit better. You just saw it was the 23rd richest man in the world invest into Backed, and Backed getting another 170 million in funding. I don't know what you need with all that money, but it's always nice to have, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure you can figure out things to do with it when you've got it floating around.
Well, honestly, I don't for example, Cardano, what's going on there? Or in EOS, Cardano doesn't even have a mainnet launch.
Yeah,
right.
That's incredible to me that even after all this time, they still haven't got a mainnet.
$1 billion. And then on top of that, Julian Hosp of 10X, they raised $120 million, and he now is leaving the company. So Dr. Julian Hosp is no longer part of 10X. So a lot of conspicuous things going on. I think some of the players that were just in it for the money.
Ethereum Classic got a 51% attack, and that is the same company.
Oh yeah,
what's the name of Cardano's company? The company that owns IOHK works on the development of the Ethereum Classic chain. So just thought that's interesting since you brought up Cardano and Ethereum Classic being linked to it.
Yeah, I mean, especially I think Coinbase is considering delisting it.
They halted trading for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Honestly, and I don't blame them. And if you're a DApp or an ICO or thinking about creating a DApp or an ICO, I think there's only 3 contenders right now. I think it's Stellar, EOS, and Ethereum. Of course, Ethereum.
Yeah.
But even though we bag on EOS a lot, at least it's.
How about Neo? Since that was.
Oh yeah, Neo, of course, and Neo had that big news. With Binance supporting their staking Binance Coin apparently is going to be a staking proof based off of Neo's blockchain. So that's pretty interesting too. You know, as much as we like to say CZ is pretty bipartisan, he's still picking the only Chinese coin that's in the top 200, top 20 rather, to really be their backbone for Binance Coin. So, and they saw a huge bump, around 10 to 12% yesterday. Binance Coin jumped up a little bit. I mean, sorry, not Binance Coin. Neo jumped up a little bit.
Yeah, it is pretty low to launch on now. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they'll evolve, and there is ontology now. So
yeah, I completely agree with that, and I still think what is it, 500 gas, right?
To start a smart contract.
To start a smart contract, it's 500 gas. So I still think that it's still super cheap. I mean, gas is, even though there's massive buy walls and sell walls on gas right now, everyone's been talking about that as of late. Neo gas, when we're talking about gas, not Ethereum gas, which is just Ethereum, right? So there's a specific token called gas.
Right.
So it's getting a lot of trading action and a lot of speculative buyers buying up that sweet gas and sweet Neo.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, speaking of, so you were saying back to raise that much money. Have you seen that new Walmart ad?
No.
What Walmart ad?
That's pretty cool. You can spend a few million on an ad. That's what you can do with some of the money. They got this really cool ad. It has all these cars from different movies, like the Trans Am from Knight Rider, the Bumblebee, the cool. Scooby Wagon. Just a dozen of them going to Walmart. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and JK brings up a good point too. Not only are we talking about Bakkt and Ethereum and things like that, but Tron launching their own coin on Bittorrent, right?
Well, Bittorrent launched its own coin on the Tron network.
Right. Which only makes sense because Tron acquired Bittorrent. But
I saw an article the other day, and I'm still a fan of Tron as well as the platform, but I saw they had 100 dApps built on it last year, and they plan to have, of course this is just a plan, but plan to have 1,000 dApps built on it by the end of 2019. So I think Tron is another decent platform out there still.
Yeah, I agree.
They've definitely been making all kinds of moves. I know some people were kind of mad. They've got an event coming up in San Francisco that they paid a bunch of money to get Kobe Bryant at. And a lot of people were mad about that because who cares what Kobe Bryant thinks about crypto? But it's kind of the same thing. I call it the Taylor Swift theory, right? Because as soon as one of these people is like, yeah, no, I'm buying it, they could have a massive effect on the market just because people are like, oh, well, if Kobe Bryant's buying it or Taylor Swift's buying it, then why wouldn't we try, with a huge fan base like that? So I see the point. I don't necessarily agree that it's the right way to drive adoption, but Justin Sun is basically trying everything under the sun, no pun intended, to try to help spread awareness and adoption. So you can't fault the guy's marketing chops.
No, if it's in the budget, go for it. It kind of comes back to that Walmart ad. They've got money for this kind of thing. A lot of projects were throwing money at marketing and all these different advertising techniques, and they weren't sticking. They were just seeing what would happen, and it wasn't really in the budget, and they've found out that now. But yeah, if it's in Tron's budget, go for it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, agreed. But you have to be careful, especially with that Kobe Bryant. If Kobe Bryant talked to Mayweather or DJ Khaled, he would be very in a different perspective, considering they're both being sued right now. DJ Khaled and what's his face?
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather, yeah. For Centra, right? Exactly. So that's always going to be interesting to see, how these celebrity sponsorships actually play out in the future, and if they're going to be affected whatsoever.
It is interesting because, I mean, if you just take a product at face value, just any product, you have celebrities endorsing it. It's propaganda. It's like one of the, it's probably one of the most commonly used techniques to advertise stuff. But when it comes to crypto, obviously the SEC isn't too happy about that. So it'll be interesting to see how they regulate that and whether or not it should be allowed. What is, if you just try to break it down, what's the difference between, Floyd Money Mayweather marketing, a new pair of shoes, and an ICO? I guess it's money, really.
I was gonna say, ultimately, the difference is that people aren't expecting the value of their shoes to go up, except when they are, right? Because how many people collect Jordans, for instance, right?
Right.
So
are you calling Yeezys and Jordans a security?
I guess the point is that you're advertising an asset or a security, as opposed to a physical product.
It's true. I mean, but you could get prosecuted just like that. Like those guys at Foot Locker, one of the employees at Foot Locker would basically buy up all the Jordans and Yeezys as soon as they came into the store, and he was making more money than his salary on reselling these sneakers. Right. So, and he got into a lot of trouble for it.
Is that insider trading, insider shoe trading? Like, I mean, I don't really see the problem with, so for instance, taking it back to, I used to work in the car business, right? And we would be allowed to, I could buy a certain number of cars a year from the dealership, and if I could do whatever the hell I wanted with them, I would still get my employee discount. And I could buy X number of cars, I could take them and flip them, I could keep them, I could do whatever I want. But they did say, they limited it. I think it was only like 5 cars. It's been a while. But I think you could only buy like 5 cars in the year. So they would say, okay, no more than this. But I don't see the problem. They just need to instill some sort of policy there. And why wouldn't it be something similar with this? I don't know. There's obviously financial regulations are considerably stronger than talking about trading commodities like shoes and cars and things like that.
Until we tokenize them.
Yeah, right.
We have a platform for that.
Yeah, we have a platform for that.
Did you guys see? This is actually something that just crossed my mind at this. So, how many guys are UFC fans? Yeah,
sure.
Anybody watch the fight card from the New Year's time?
Yeah, John Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see it just because I wanted to see John Jones get his belt back, and that was a pretty intriguing fight card. But did anybody notice Litecoin sponsored that? It was hilarious to hear Bruce Buffer be like, "And brought to you by Litecoin, the official cryptocurrency of the UFC," and I was like. I had to do a double take. I was like, wait a minute, did he just say Litecoin? So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it just another avenue towards driving awareness. Do you think anybody went out and bought any Litecoin because of the UFC?
That's nuts. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, the logo was in the canvas and everything.
But back in 2017, 18, early 2018, the big hot topic was Ripple. Everyone had heard of Ripple, and people were coming up to us like, "Yeah, I didn't want to buy a Bitcoin. They didn't understand you could buy fractionalized Bitcoin for $20,000, right? But they didn't want to buy Bitcoin. They're like, "Hey, I bought Ripple," and that was a big topic. Ripple was the big topic, and you saw, on Ellen DeGeneres, nasty picture, donating Ripple, and them doing a lot of integration with banks. So a lot of people in the financial sector even heard of Ripple. Even my own brother-in-law, he heard of Ripple without me telling him, which is surprising. Right?
Yeah, that was. Before I had moved down to Los Angeles, most of the traditional market people, I mean, my old job in payroll and human resource, I did a lot of interacting with CPAs and, different kinds of financial advisors and things like that. And all of them, when they found out I was into that Bitcoin thing, were like, "Tell me about this Ripple stuff." So I thought that was hilarious that they had never heard of anything like, you know, they knew about Bitcoin and then they were like, well, what about Ripple? I'm like, you haven't even heard of Ethereum or, you know, at the time.
That was very similar to one of our friends on Wall Street, a mutual friend of Sneh and I's, had asked us and was interested in blockchain technology and definitely mostly Ripple. He came from the financial sector, and I think for said reasons that you mentioned, I think was just interesting.
Well, even from a consumer standpoint, you know, just because the max supply is what 40 billion, the circulating supply right now is what 40 billion tokens. It just looks cheaper to a consumer, even though, you know, they're not maybe getting as much value as they are when they're buying, you know, maybe a tenth of a Bitcoin. They would rather hold, you know, 2,000 Ripple, you know, because it seems like a bigger figure. You know, psychologically, you know, and maybe that is a good marketing method. Maybe that is a good tokenization ploy where you just have a massive token supply, not pegged to anything, and you just feel like you're holding more because the account balance looks like it's more. Instead of holding, you know, 0.06 Bitcoin, I could hold 1,000 Ripple.
I'd still rather hold 0.06 Bitcoin.
Right. I mean, we would. We would, but the average consumer doesn't, you know, the non-educated consumer doesn't really understand that.
Yeah, when I was first in the picture, I was like that. When I got into stocks over 10 years ago, I looked at the penny stocks. But, wow, I can have so many.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting to just something that I've learned over the past several months, just reflecting on life, is to look into the areas of my life that I didn't think about at first. And I'm just thinking about this with Bitcoin and Ripple, you know, taking a closer look at something that you may not perceive at first as being that interesting and doing your homework on it. I find it interesting. I find it interesting that there are a lot of people that think Ripple is interesting, you know, from a financial standpoint, and to use it. I could see it being used as perhaps sort of a bridge, or something like it, like Stellar, as a bridge between, you know, financial legacy financial systems and more decentralized systems like Bitcoin.
I mean,
in reality,
if you just think about Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer cash system, you know, however they want to classify Bitcoin these days, whether you consider it as digital cash or store value, that's up for debate. You know, that's for another discussion. But the fact is, Ripple and Stellar are transacted between 3 to 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nothing comes close to that. Whether you talk about Cardano and EOS and their delegated proof of stake model, you know, it could get up to 15, 20 seconds. I'm just thinking about standing in line at a gas station for 20 seconds with nothing to say, waiting for your transaction to go through.
You know? It would get pretty awkward, I would imagine.
Yeah, it would just get super awkward, you know. Even with those quote-unquote Gen 3 blockchains, and obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would say Gen 1 and Gen 2, even slower, you know, 5 to 10 minutes on Ethereum and up to 30 minutes to an hour for Bitcoin. And that's why there's, you know, maybe on the application layer, it's maybe smart to run everything centralized. That way, you know, it's more of a ledger system rather than a Bitcoin system, right? So you're not actually sending Bitcoin through a wallet, but you're just saying, hey, I'm taking this off of this Excel sheet. Much faster, much more reliable, and there's no real big custody issues that way as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a valid argument. I think you know, we don't really have crypto to be able to use as money per se, where we can transact that fast. You know, even if you go online and you've went to somewhere like Overstock, if anyone's bought anything on Overstock with Bitcoin, you have to wait. I mean, I know it's an online order, so you're not going to get it right away like you would your gas or you know, a cheeseburger at McDonald's, but you know, it has to confirm on the blockchain before your order's processed. So
yeah, agreed. And BitPay kind of circumvents that model because they use their own wallet. So they're pinging their own nodes and they're saying, hey, we'll confirm these transactions. Instead of 6 block confirmations, we'll confirm them in 1, just because it's our own wallet and we know where it's being pinged to, right? And that's what it's called, payment protocol enabled wallets. And that's why BitPay only accepts, they used to accept all wallets. And it used to be, hey, this checkout experience, if Bitcoin jumps up $4,000, $5,000, or dumps $4,000, $5,000, it was BitPay's responsibility to cover that volatility. But now they're moving over to a more centralized method where now the wallet is pinged to their own node, and the wallet actually retains the private key, so you're not able to manipulate it like that. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I think 2019 is going to be an interesting year just to see how many merchants and vendors actually support crypto payments that are time sensitive, like Amazon payments. Like, I understand when it comes to cars and houses and things like that, which a long thought out payment. And 30 minutes is nothing in the grand scheme of things. But when it comes to a hot dog or a gumball, it's very time sensitive. You want instant gumball. You don't want 30-minute waiting gumball. Right.
Yeah, true. Let me just stop here and do a shout out to Sam. I'm basically here because of Sam and watching him on YouTube way back at the end of last year. So shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Welcome back, dude. Hope to see more of you.
Yeah, for anybody who's wondering, I right now I'm at
the end of 2017, not the end of last year.
Yeah. Right now I am back in my parents' house, and I'm going to be streaming more in the future. But this is obviously my first stream in a long time with the guys. Glad to be back with it. Glad to have all you guys help. Honestly, in my absence, a lot of you guys have helped advance the Discord channel and our Moon Lounge to honestly something really cool. So
yeah, do me a favor, guys. Since Sam is back, smash that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Yeah, all for Sam. Okay, only if Sam is back.
If you don't like me, maybe
if you don't like him, also hit the thumbs up button.
I was gonna say, just whatever you do, smash that thumbs up and make sure to hit the bell so that you know when we go live. This is hilarious.
If anybody's wondering, I'm gonna stream later at some point. For any longtime fans that haven't seen me in a while, I'll be happy to answer some questions and give you my thoughts and opinions in more detail. But
thumbs up for me too. Thanks, FS. Appreciate it, man.
Now, I don't want to be a hot topic debater here, but
yes, you do.
Yeah, I do. And I don't like predictions, but what's more likely first, 35 or 45? 3,500 or 4,500?
35.
I was just say I'm gonna need to look at the
35.
chart.
James says 35. Jordan, you say 45?
No, I said 35.
35. Okay.
Yeah.
Going with 35 as well.
Yeah, I think 35 is more realistic.
It feels like this has been a relief rally to try to create a little more liquidity in the market. I mean, we still higher lows, but still no higher highs yet. So
yeah,
it's tough to get super bullish yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a record number of OTC transactions as well. I was just talking to a small OTC desk here in the United States. He did $18 billion in transactions, and he's very small. There's 3 people on his team.
I believe I actually made a good point. I think 3,500 for sure, even if 4,500 comes first. I believe that as well. Even if we see 45, I wouldn't be surprised to see go back to 35.
Well, here's the issue with that is that, any sort of good news, like, hey, Bitcoin is being accepted by Amazon, we're not going to see 35. We're just going to see 45, and we're so low right now with even these resistances aren't really holding true as much as I'd like them to be, even the supports and resistances. If we break down to 35, we'll probably go right back to 31 and maybe even lower than 31. But 31 seems to be our floor right now.
I don't think we've shown any signs of strong support yet. I mean, it's the next strong support here. I'm just trying to look at my my old chart here, and
44 is going to be tough to get past anyway. So I think that's the question: 34 or 35.
I mean, if it goes to 35, I think we see it down, and I think we see it closer to 28, 26, somewhere in there in short order. Just there is no support between 35 and 3, really. Like, look at the chart. There's nothing.
Me on the chat says it's going to do the opposite of what you want it to do.
Yeah, that's probably right.
It's usually how life goes. You got to actually prepare for the worst.
Yeah,
and don't expect the best.
Always set your stop losses, guys. That's something that is always recommended.
Someone said that to me once. I can't remember who it was.
I don't know what would.
Yeah. And when you are setting your stop losses, remember to understand that every time you go back into fiat, it's a taxable event.
It's a taxable event no matter what. Anyway, the whole that's
right.
People keep conflating that information. If you make a trade, it's a taxable event under the Trump administration. That is, ever since the Trump administration came in, that was a policy change. From the beginning of 2018, every single trade you made is a taxable situation, whether you went into crypto or not. Now, if you were, I don't know, savvy enough, maybe there's ways around it. I'm
curious if anyone knows what it's like if you live in Europe, because I think our second largest demographic probably lives in Europe, and if anyone on the stream watching knows what the regulation is, I'd be interested to know what that law is like for Europe, because you guys are the second largest watchers of our stream. I know America's dominant.
Well, has anyone received their 1099 or tax form from Coinbase or Robinhood or Fidelity or anything like that?
I haven't yet.
They're not taxing it right. The government is saying one thing, and my Coinbase taxes are completely different. Very, very, very different. They're only taxing when I actually withdraw the fiat into my account. But when the fiat is just sitting in Coinbase under Coinbase's custody, they're not taxing me correctly. So it's always interesting to see how these exchanges are going to be handling all these different 1099s and tax forms that they're going to request from.
I think at the end of the day, it's like everything in crypto. It's not regulated. It's not well developed. There's not a lot of GUI. There's not a lot of UI. There's not a lot of stuff. And I think something I said before, if you're interested in cryptocurrency, I think there's a lot of jobs out there that are to be filled. I think from every aspect, lawyers, CPAs, even developers. I think what was the statistics, Nate, that you said about developers? Something about how many ICOs there are. There was 10 ICOs to one developer.
Yeah, ridiculous. And blockchain developer, that term on all these job sites is the hottest up and coming term and the most desired term right now. There's really not that many blockchain developers, because companies these days, they'd be like, hey, we need an Ethereum developer with at least 10 years experience, which makes no sense, because Ethereum hasn't even been around that long. We need a Solidity developer before Solidity was invented. These are corporate mindsets, and so these big corporations are waiting for these developers and actual talent to come out where there is very, very little amount of talent right now in the whole developer pool for Solidity.
Somebody asks, what's the maximum you can write off for 2018? Again, whoever answered that, I do consult a professional. The maximum that you can claim, I believe, is 3,000, but you can carry losses over into the second year and the third year until you recuperate all your losses. I mean, if you lost $100,000, though, you're going to be waiting about 30 some years to get your money completely.
Right, and if you do have your own financial advisor or any sort of advisory agreement here in the United States, advisory firm in the United States, that first $5,500 that you spend on cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, you could change that into an IRA. So that means like a Bitcoin IRA. So that $5,500 will now not be taxable. right? And so if you're making $50,000 per year, the government doesn't tax you that you made 50,000. They'll tax you that you made 4,400
45, right?
44,005, yeah, 44.5K instead of that 50,000. So not only do you get a pay scale tax break, but you also get an IRA tax break where and you can claim losses. I mean, if you bought in early 2018, you could just keep throwing money in there until it hits 5,500 by the end of the tax year, which is December 31st. So lots of little cool nicks and tricks to do it. But again, guys, please consult a professional.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust me, so you shouldn't trust me either on tax advice.
So now is another good time for this. Yeah. Please read the disclaimer.
Yeah, okay. please read the disclaimer.
Yeah, we are clearly not tax professionals or financial advisors. So yeah, this is we're going with what would be known as common knowledge. Consult a tax professional. Consult your own financial advisor to find out the actual details on this kind of stuff, because
yeah. So send me 5 to 10 Bitcoin and I'll send you 20 to 30 back.
God, how do people still fall for that?
I don't know.
I got added to a Coinbase Telegram group the other day, and it was like, "Sir, thank you so much, sir. I just got my 30 Bitcoin, guys." And I'm just like, who falls for this shit? It was like a nice Coinbase logo in it, and at first I was like, "Oh, Coinbase has a Telegram group," and then I read 3 comments and was just like, "Scam, delete, report spam."
No, I mean, even, I feel like every ICO is susceptible to this, but even on our own ICO, Monarch, I get people that have their own Telegram accounts that just say Monarch Grant Bot, and they're like, "Hey, we're giving out 1 Bitcoin for anybody who sends half a Bitcoin to this account." I was like, "Wait a second, this is my company. There's no way this is real."
Oh yeah. Right? I've got to drop the ban hammer in that forum pretty steadily.
So I mean, but it's also a sign of success, because the more scammers you get, the more pride you feel, because now people want to copy and try to scam money out of the system, right?
Yeah, well, take it as a compliment then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More scammers, the more successful you are, right?
Right.
That's why when I go to Nigeria, it better be a utopia. Oh man! And now we're getting comments saying 2020 bull run. The halvening is strong. Yeah. The halvening is strong. That's all I'm going to say.
That was the biggest driver for Bitcoin really going up in value. It was around $1,000 the time it halved last time, and it really went on a bull run from that halvening up until it hit 20K. I think I concur.
Yeah, it's a strong driver, and mathematically it's a strong driver. And right now, whether you like it or not, the biggest influence in Bitcoin is the miners. Still to this day, even though people don't like to recognize that or feel like that, and that's why I feel like we won't see it's going to be very hard to get under $3,000 at the Bitcoin price, because mining just costs so much more money. Even though they lowered the difficulty, the utility cost for the average United States citizen, if you average all the utility costs, of course, it's going to be cheaper in Montana and Nebraska and more expensive in California and things like that, and where there's very limited natural resources and things like that. But if you average the United States utility costs, then it's around $3,500 to mine a single Bitcoin. So it's a 500 Bitcoin profit margin. Rather, when you go down to Venezuela, utility cost is so cheap that it's only $500 to mine a single Bitcoin. But again, you're in Venezuela and you're going to get robbed.
I was going to say, good luck keeping your mining operation safe and secure. Without, I mean, I hope you have a bunch of Bitcoin and a bunch of cash to pay soldiers to guard your compound.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was real or not, but did you see that Norwegian billionaire, his wife got kidnapped, and they're demanding ransom for in Monero?
Oh
Did you hear about that? That just happened yesterday.
no.
Yeah, crazy.
Smart of them to do it in a privacy token, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all the crypto jacking that's gone on, and all this other, all this other kind of extortion, basically, that's been happening. And they're asking for Bitcoin, and they're like, "Oh, send the Bitcoin." It's like, cool. Well, we'll just trace that Bitcoin around, and I mean, people get black marked. Certain Bitcoin gets black marked. I suppose if they just OTC it, that's the workaround, but it's not.
Even that's not a workaround. I mean, there's still scanning mechanisms there, and Coinbase and all these big exchanges will shut down your accounts. But on this note, if I ever get held hostage and people are demanding money out of me or out of you, saying, "Hey, give me his crypto assets," just let me die and tell the whole public that he's a hodler and he would never give up his crypto.
A martyr.
Yeah, just be like he'll die by his ideals. The hodl.
They'll make statues of it.
Yeah, exactly. They'll make statues of me. I'll be the crypto martyr. You know, he hodled till death.
Yeah, you thought you were just gonna hodl till zero. He hodled till he died.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to do. Is I want to take one Bitcoin when I pass away. And bury me somewhere in an undisclosed location, and so someone could actually grave rob me. That'd be pretty cool.
With your private key tucked beside you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking for an Indiana Jones-esque adventure when I die. So
yeah, I was gonna say
Indian Jones. That's pretty good.
Grave robbers, Indian Jones. That's pretty good, Snare.
Yeah,
that'd be all right. That'd be an adventure. Yeah, I saw a statistic. 300 the job offers in the blockchain had gone up 300% last year. So its crypto prices are going down. Blockchain work was going up. There's been a lot more adoption. I saw it personally. We had more business coming in, even though the prices are down. So, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. We're in talks with a couple of governments about blockchain implementations and partnerships with banks and all sorts of things. There's really cool stuff happening, that's for sure.
Yeah, and especially all these different reports are coming out, and there's no correlation. All these big financially independent companies, audit companies, are looking at this and saying there's no correlation between the commodities and stock markets and cryptocurrencies as of late. Maybe once the market evolves a little bit, maybe we'll have a little bit more of a correlation, but at $100 billion. Do
you expect an inverse correlation? I mean,
you're expecting a correlation to anything. Hey, gold is going up. Bitcoin's going up. Hey, Dow Jones Industrial Average is going up or down. Bitcoin's going up or down, or the value of the dollar, or just saying, USD to euro pairing or Japanese yen pairing, which is a fairly stable currency, the Japanese yen. But no, there's no correlation between Forex, all these different Forex currencies, the stock market, and the commodity prices.
Well, they've been wildly speculating on an inverse correlation for a long time, and it just hasn't proven true. I mean, everybody keeps thinking that as the stock market tanks, then, oh, sure, now investors will see the use of Bitcoin, and now investors will see the value in Bitcoin, and money will flood into the crypto markets, and it just hasn't happened. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've been watching your investment accounts, I took a beating the last 2 months, and my crypto's still getting kicked while it's already been down. So I don't see any inverse correlation. Yeah,
but it's a strange market. Everything's tied to Bitcoin. So all these cryptocurrencies, they might be making money. They're still ultimately tied to Bitcoin. So once that's decoupled and these companies can think for themselves, and it's bound to happen, especially with all these STOs coming out that are backed by revenue and can be traditionally valued, and we see a decoupling from Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will be kind of that gold of the crypto world, and I think we'll see some inverse correlations, and then other crypto companies will be able to you'll be able to value them on actually their revenue, and they'll kind of think for themselves in a sense.
I have to agree with Snade though. I mean, yeah, you have markets and forex and stuff, and $100 billion market just isn't a market. You're trying to find a correlation between something that is like this big and something that is like so small. Like there's just, how can you correlate something so big to something so small? There's just not enough data really to make.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need more data or a massive economic crisis for us to really, or a war or something like that to really push it. But in time it will come, especially with the rise of the STOs and revenue-backed tokens and tokenization. I think it will change the landscape.
Honestly, cryptocurrencies are more akin to luxury collectibles, like trading cards, like baseball trading cards, than they are to commodities or stocks or anything. You know, it's all about the demand within our specific environment. You know, as baseball declines, maybe their trading card value will decline, or maybe collectibles will start going back up. You know, maybe it's the way of the Beanie Baby. You know, maybe Bitcoins are Beanie Babies. Who knows? Who knows what's actually going to happen and how this market is correlated. And especially everyone thought, hey, maybe it's related to the commodities markets. Well, Bitcoin is at $4,000. Gold is at a 6-month high. I was just recently in Ohio, and I filled up gas for $1.65.
Yeah, gas was
So
dumb cheap.
it's
in
stupid
Colorado,
cheap
too.
right now.
I
It's
couldn't believe it.
stupid cheap right now.
Not here though. Not
It's
in
under
LA.
$60 a barrel right now for crude oil. Silver still hasn't really recouped, but you know, gold is starting to get back to those early 2010, 11 prices. Not maybe quite 2008 prices, where that was a direct hedge against the whole economic crisis in 2008. But it still hasn't recouped much, and we're not seeing that clear, defined line saying, "Hey, this goes up, this will go down, or this will go down, this will go up." You know, and the only thing I could think of is the more fear you could put into government, and the more you could say, "Hey, don't trust Trump or don't trust any administration," the better Bitcoin will be.
Fair enough.
Yeah, time will tell. And if you look at Binance, if you did a traditional valuation on Binance, it's worth about $5. So if it's more, it's speculation. If it's less, it's undervalued. You know, we'll see more of that. Companies that actually make money and we can value them. But the thing is, if Bitcoin dumps to 1,000, Binance is going to become undervalued. It kind of doesn't make sense.
Why would Binance be undervalued? Because if Bitcoin dumps down, that would assume that means that there is a significant less amount of market interest in it. And if that is the case, I would also assume that the volume would significantly decrease. So why would Binance then be undervalued?
A lot of people are waiting to buy at that low, so there'll be a lot more buyers. So it might, but generally, in general terms, you know, about what Binance is making now, about $5 is what it's worth. So well, you got to look at its profits each quarter and reevaluate.
So I don't know. You guys have heard of Bank to the Future?
Uh-huh.
I think everyone's heard of Bank to the Future, right? And then, Sam, you interviewed the CEO, Simon Dixon, Bank to the Future. Well, I just got an email from them about a capital raise from BitHum. And BitHum is seeking $110 million for 6.6% of equity. And equity doesn't determine rev share or dividend structure or anything like that. But these companies are raising an exorbitant amount. And if you look at Kraken is looking to be valued at $4 billion.
Do they have the volume to be valued at $4 billion?
But here's the thing. BitHum's revenue was around $300 million in 2018. You 5x that, you 10x that. How much do you really x that? Especially with the abundances of exchanges being released.
Right.
Every single day. I feel like there's a new exchange every single day.
Definitely.
And if you look at these arbitrage bots and market makers, liquidity isn't an issue anymore. And these remember back in 2017, we were all in this space where Korea was trading 10 to 15% higher than all the U.S. and European based exchanges. Now none of that's being mitigated. That these cross-border, whether it be in Russia or Europe or South Korea or Japan, these margins are getting tighter and tighter for arbitrage traders. It's not really a lucrative opportunity anymore because this space has been flooded by new talent and new resources to really mitigate any of these exchanges. So even when you think about liquidity, why do I join Coinbase or Gemini when a small exchange will do and I'll get the same amount of liquidity? You know, I'm not looking.
I'll tell you why I joined Coinbase is because they're FDIC insured, and at least the cash in the exchange ever gets hacked. The cash, you know, depending on how much money you leave on the exchange, but you know, I certainly have less than $250,000 on the exchange. So if the exchange gets hacked and my cash gets stolen, I can get it back from the government.
Right.
That's why I like Coinbase.
As so they say, you know.
Yeah, true. I haven't had to put it in.
So FDIC insurance is pretty finicky here in the United States, and you know, we'll see how it really comes to play. But still, you know, if I wanted to buy on a smaller exchange, a smaller centralized exchange, if I'm not buying exorbitant amounts like 100, 200 Bitcoin, where it would actually sway that price, which most people aren't, because it is incredibly expensive for a single Bitcoin these days, $4,000. And if you are buying that much, why are you doing that? Why not go over OTC and get a better price and actually have that order execute and, you know, have that peace of mind compared to buying it on an exchange, right? So I really don't think that these centralized exchanges are being valued appropriately. I don't think maybe Coinbase, because, you know, they have a lot of cool things coming up, you know. But when I look at Gemini, is what, a 5-year-old company, Winklevoss twins. Their app launched in 2018. Their mobile app. Kraken doesn't have a mobile app. It is 2019, guys. It is 2019, and this $100 million cash machine of an exchange does not have a mobile app. Now. Desktop usage is down across all the boards, across all industries. Whether you're talking about fantasy sports or watching TV, Netflix, you know, people are using their phones much more often as their primary entertainment and communication and essential gateway device. There's some days where I don't even go on my computer to check my email. I just do everything over my phone.
I find it kind of, I mean, I guess I get it. It's more of a matter of convenience versus and how do I say, it's nice to be able to carry your email around in your pocket. It's nice to be able to like look at TradingView. But I mean, there's a perfect example. Try looking at TradingView. Try properly charting something on your phone and having all of your indicators on there. Because I use the app on there all the time, but mostly I just look at it to check the prices. If you want to actually go chart something, it is 10,000 times easier to do on your computer than it is on a mobile app. Trust me.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say that this for the same like art or any complex activity like Photoshop. Can you imagine doing Photoshop on your phone? That'd be ridiculous,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. No kind of graphic design work.
Right. And even when it comes to gaming, you know, you're not going to be able to play complex games with 2 fingers. You know, you want to have that whole interface where it's, you know,
other than have a spaceship that looks a little bit like this.
What the apps are good for, you know, I'm not a big supporter of stop losses, but I'm a supporter of setting alerts and then automatically making a decision on that alert. So with the app, you can just go, boom, sell. My alert went off. I can sell now instead of setting up, having all my screens running and doing what I need to do there.
True. I'm always dicey about trading directly from my phone. For
I hate it.
Purposes. I mean,
somebody we've asked a good question that I don't know the answer to. Coinbase protects your wallet, but does that also apply to Coinbase Pro?
You know, I assumed so, but I have not checked. I would assume because they are both the same operation. I mean, Coinbase Pro.
I just assumed so as well, but I could imagine a different. You know, Coinbase having their own hot wallets and stuff, and perhaps Coinbase Pro, perhaps not being insured. Gotcha. I don't know the answer to that.
I think they got custodial solutions and other sophisticated things on there, so maybe they do it a different way.
Well, honestly, especially in this rapid changing environment, one of the biggest things I miss about my old iPhone was my fingerprint scanner.
Yeah.
I honestly just don't trust someone could make a mold. I mean, I've been on camera so much. Somebody can make a mold of my head and and get into my phone, right?
Yeah.
Technically speaking. I wouldn't want to see that mold either, but Madame Tussauds, maybe I'll get famous enough to go there. Maybe we'll just unlock my phone using a wax statue.
Well,
that's only going to be when you're a martyr. So
yeah, exactly. But I have to die first, and someone has to hold me ransom for Monero, which I'm ready. My body is ready.
They're obviously going to ask for Monarch.
Yeah, I've been eating lots of preservatives lately, so I'm ready, look nice and clean for that statue. Oh, guys. All right, well, how long has it been so far?
53 minutes and
53 minutes.
Seconds.
Any closing thoughts, guys?
I'm just looking forward to a good year for 2019. Hopefully some opportunities to make some money, and if not, just avoid getting wrecked. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for this year. I think the solid projects continued to build throughout the bear market last year, and if we don't see another bull run, we'll probably continue to do so this year. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for these STO liquidity platforms and new derivatives and a lot of things like that.
What I'm most looking forward to 2019 isn't really the price or merchant adoption or anything. I just want regulatory clearance.
Yeah.
Not clearance.
Clarity, I believe was the word you were looking for.
Clarity.
Yeah. I just want clarity. Right now, the only things that are trustworthy and are legitimate commodities are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not Litecoin, not Stellar, not Ripple, not EOS. Ripple especially, they're still going through lawsuits and the rigmarole of figuring it out if it is a security or not.
Man,
but Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two, and I'm not talking ERC20 or anything else like that. And yeah, Sam is back in 2019, so almost like a groundhog, where it's Sam is out in 2019, so maybe there's the summer is finally coming and crypto winter is ending. So
one thing I'd like to say is I think 2018 it was to be expected when you have a large run up in a market like that, and I think the price with development and of the technology and stuff definitely lagged behind the price, and now I think what you have is a lot of people developing, building, and I'd like to see some real world use cases for some of these things, and I think there are some people working and developing apps, blockchains, payment processors, gateways, all types of things. And I think that the most interesting thing for me to see is some of this stuff being actually put to use and actually work. I think there's so many things, so many ICOs, so many STOs, so many blockchains in general, whatever you want to call them, that claim that they're going to be able to do this, that, or the other. And obviously we're not very close to many of those things happening or occurring yet. It's kind of like technology that we know has a use in the future, kind of like VR. It's kind of we kind of all know that VR will probably be a large component of just technology in general in the future, but it's not quite there. So that's kind of how I see blockchain, and I'll be excited to see how 2019 develops from a use case standpoint.
Sorry, I was coughing myself to death there.
Sorry, my computer is dying. I agree. And on top of that, I'm really excited to see things entering retirement accounts like Fidelity and just having a better gateway to buy cryptocurrencies rather than going on an exchange and dealing with all that unnecessary things like that. So honestly, that's why I really do believe these big exchanges are how can I say this politely, are very overvalued, because I don't know many people that buy gold. I know people that buy gold ETFs and have exposure in gold ETFs much more than I know the people that actually buy the physical underlying asset. So 2019 is going to be a great year to watch, and I'm just happy to be alive, really.
Yep. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive, guys.
Yeah, some really exciting things coming up. That's for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, so guys, anyone that's not a part of our Discord group, you can join it for free. There's all of us inside of that community. Join it for free by going to cryptosomniac.com/discord1.
Right up there, guys.
Join us. Chat with us in the community.
Yeah, come hang out. You can join the Discord server for free. You don't have to join the Advantage right away, but if you do want to join the Advantage, you can do so. We are still offering the 14-day trial for free. So if you want to check it out and see the full shebang, it's up there for you, right here above me. You can go right up there.
And honestly, this space is so small. Especially starting early on. I think back in 2013, 2012, it was just me and Sam texting each other. That was my community, right? And then maybe Reddit sometimes, but that was garbage half the time.
Yeah. 4chan.
It was just such a small community, and it's hard to really share opinions and just share your thoughts on the market and actually watching things together. Like if you see a price run up, you'll see everybody log on and talk, and it's everybody that you're comfortable with, and of course, everyone has their different opinions, but that's the beauty about having a great small, what is it called? Gated community. Yeah. That's what it pretty much feels like.
Gated community.
Yeah. It feels like a gated community. We don't have that.
I'm a little claustrophobic now.
Yeah.
Why am I trapped in a gate?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's because listen, outside of the gated community, there's a lot of garbage going on.
Yeah.
And people selling their Bitcoin silver or gold or whatever they want to call it these days, their Bitcoin bronze, whatever they want to call it. But we don't allow that into the gated community, so it's like a little passageway.
Yeah.
You mean like The Walking Dead and the zombies are the bad actors?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got it now. I understand.
Yeah. Nice. Good analogy. All right, guys. Well, unless anybody's got anything else, if you guys want to continue to hang out with us, we'll be over in the Moon Lounge, and we're going to try to, I think we'll do Trader Talk. I think we'll get it back to Mondays regularly, recurring. That was the normal time for the show. This was just the time we could all do it this week. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Guys, thanks for making time, and yeah, we'll see y'all in the Moon Lounge. Keep your stop losses tight.
Peace. See you guys.
Night, guys.
Peace.
Bye. Cut.
Are we still live?